The Federal Open Market Committee meeting just wrapped up, and everyone's wondering when the Feds are going to start cutting their rates. Furthermore, we're also wondering how many rate cuts are there going to be. Everything's pointing to 3, but is that still going to happen? Let's take a look and find out. What's up, everybody? It's Izzy with Popular Properties, back again with another market review after our FOMC meeting just wrapped up. It is now March 21st. I know this says March 20th, but we're a day later, and I'm not going to bother changing that. So let's get down to business. Given that CPI inflation data has fallen short of expectations for 2 months in a row, we were expecting Powell to come out at this FOMC meeting quite hawkish, but instead he turned a dovish tail and gave us some good news. He stated the Fed's belief that their policy rate is likely at its peak for this tightening period, which means we are no longer worried about any rate hikes for the coming future. Furthermore, he also stated that their plans to cut rates this year remains unchanged. So the big question is, when are these rate cuts going to happen? And are we still looking at 3? Well, Powell did state that the median FOMC participant projects that the Fed's basis points should be at 4.6 by the end of this year. This is unchanged from what they stated in December. But the key thing here that everyone is missing is the individual votes. Now, I believe in studying the blips, you can actually see their true thoughts and where things are moving. In particular, where things will be moving if we continue getting bad data. So let's take a look at that. All right, so if you go to the Fed's website up here, we can find their projection materials for the meeting that just happened on the 20th. So let's open this up. The main component over here, the main thing that I'm looking at, is going to be this right here, page 4, which is, there's 19 members in the FOMC, 19 voting members, and each one of them projects where they believe interest rates should be for the end of the next 3 years, and then in the long term as well. So right here, you can see this is 2024, and you can see exactly where most of the members were meeting, right? So it's actually 9 out of the 19 members voted that rates by the end of the year should be between 4.5 to 4.75, okay? Now, this is the tricky part. We have to compare this to the last time that they voted in December, the last time that they gave us this. So we can look up their previous data right here. December 13th was in 2023, was the last one that came out. We'll go over to the blips, and this is what it looked like before. All right. So what I did was I prepared this little graph right here that shows us exactly where everyone was voting. Okay. So as you can see, the yellow is March's meeting, the one that just happened. Red, we have December's meeting, and over here in the blue, we have September's meeting. As you can see, in December, the majority of members were thinking that the rates, the end of year target should be between 4.25 to 4.5, because this is just a maximum number, right? So now the majority believe that the basis points should be between 4.5 to 4.75. The main thing here, though, and this is probably very, very overlooked, is how many members actually believe that it should be between 4.75 to 5%. Okay? Because beforehand, in December, only one of the members thought that it should be between 4.75 and 5. Now that's 5. 5 out of the 19 members. So that's what I'm thinking is going to happen, is that if we get more and more poor news, more of these members are going to move over to this, and the median participants' vote is going to be higher to like 4.8. So with that said, if we keep on getting bad news, it's likely that we only see two cuts to the policy rate this year. So let's take a look at when those cuts could be. So back to where we were before in the Fed's website, you could actually see their calendar for the entire year, which is awesome news. You should mark all these on your calendar because they're very, very important. In particular, the ones that are extremely important are the ones with this asterisk right here, because these have economic projections, okay, which is the blips, where the voting members actually believe things should go from where they're at right now. So with that said, let's take a look at when these meetings are occurring and is it likely that there will be a rate cut in it. Our May 1st meeting is out of the question. I don't believe that this is at all possible. We've had two pretty downward months. That means that the only months that they can get data-wise is going to be March, and April's data is not going to be out by this time. So it's unlikely that they cut rates at this meeting. Now, the June 12th meeting is much more likely because by June 12th, I believe we'll have at least the employment data for May. And if March and April show good CPI numbers, then we can expect a rate cut here. So if I was a betting man, which I'm not, but if I was, this is where I believe the first rate cut is going to be. Now, because this is going to be the first rate cut, short of, CPI coming out fantastic, it is extremely unlikely that they have one on July 31st. So we're going to cut July 31st out and move on into September. Now, September, I think, would be the most appropriate time for a cut if we're going to continue with another one in the year, because it's right before the election, which I know maybe that has nothing to do with each other, but it's right before the election. And also, these next two meetings are far too close to the holiday season. Seasonal inflation is terrible. It's pretty bad. So I don't think that they would risk dropping rates here unless we had extremely good news. So I believe the only plans that they actually have are these two cuts. And a cut here would only happen if we had an insanely great year. Okay? That's it. That's what I have. Those are my predictions. Who knows? Hopefully I'm wrong and we start getting cuts at every single one of these. That'd be awesome. That'd be fantastic. So let's now talk about what exactly this means for the housing market. All right, well, first things first. This is fantastic news for any buyers who are actually and actively looking. Like if you can afford to buy a home that you want right now, this is phenomenal because you are still going to have about another year of being in the 6% range, right? Everyone's magic number is somewhere in the 5% range. If you get anywhere between to like 5.5, in my experience, that's what everyone is waiting for, right? That's where things become a lot more affordable. So you're still going to have a pretty good amount of time left with relatively low competition. Now, on the other side of that coin, though, you are still going to have very low inventory. Sellers and homeowners are not going to be that adamant about selling when they, one, don't have much to pick from, and two, will also have to pay an arm and a leg to afford an average home. So with that said, there's still going to be, the only people selling are people that have to at this point. You're not going to get anyone who's necessarily just trying to cash in on the equity that they've built, right? Because they'd have to pay that in the back end either way. So you're not finding those people. You're only finding homes that really, the owner has some issues, whether that be financial or familiar. Doesn't matter. That's the homes that you're pretty much coming across, or developments that, finished already and they have to get rid of. So, which are most of the time overpriced, right? For those of you who aren't familiar here, we've done analytics on the Boston market and we've seen how many homes are losing money every year. Go check out that video. I'll put it somewhere. I don't know where it pops up. I think it pops up here. This is the video. Boom. So yeah, check it out. So with all that said, it's looking like it's going to be another historically low year or slow year for real estate, unfortunately, right? If we're looking at Boston numbers, Boston's ahead inventory wise from last year, but we're still behind by like 7% with pending sales. So it's not looking that great. And, topple that in with the NAR lawsuit and you're spelling disaster. Listen, if you want to stay up to date and you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe. It help us out, show us that, we're doing something right. We try to get better with every video. Hopefully I did a tremendous job editing this. I don't know. I'm filming it now and editing it later. So yeah, bear with me as I try and get better and better every day. All right, guys. Love y'all. Check this out. Little hearts. Wait. Yeah, it's happening. Nice. See you guys in the next one. Bye.